Hey everyone, Reyan here. Welcome to the Barbecue and Brews Show. Today I've got a very special guest, Ben Mastwyk, coming on on the show to have a chat about how he got started, what sort of where he got his inspiration, and why he chose the chicken and the egg, which is going to be an interesting question as well. So Ben will join us shortly. Obviously, he's Melbourne based, and he's sort of, I guess, deemed calls himself a cosmic country rocker, and if you see him playing live, you'll know exactly why. And yeah, can't wait to get him on. Before we do, just want to huge shout out to our sponsors of the show. So we've got Brewery Colo, who's a brewery down here in Gippsland, down the Bellarine in Ocean Grove, who brew some great beers. So today I'm drinking the Kofi beer, which is a brown ale, which you can see there. So I'll crack that open shortly once Ben's on. And the next is the Rub Society, who obviously is a one-stop shop for your rubs and spices and all that, sauces and things like that for your barbecue. And more recently have released the new Medeiros knife range. So this week we're doing a knife of the week, and my favorite knife, you've probably seen in a lot of my videos, is the cleaver, the traditional cleaver as they call it. I gotta watch where it shines, but yeah, this thing's a monster and I really like using it. So go check out the guys at robsociety.com.au. RFTRS will get you 10% discount as well. And I guess, yeah, without further ado, let's get Ben on. And while I've lost myself in the screens, there he is. Here we go. Hey, Ben, how you going?
G'day, Reyan. How are you? I'm good, mate.
Good. That's good, mate. Welcome to the show. Good to finally meet. And I know we've talked about this since I think it was like Midstock in Melbourne. So it's been a little while in sort of an idea was dropped, and it was good to finally get you on the show.
Absolutely, and that was a fun day. It was a stunner from memory, and we were playing there. Did a band show, and also got to cruise around. And I do remember this one moment actually stumbling up at this spot where they just bust out some amazing brisket, and they just got pulling out bits and just giving little tastes. Yeah. And I got this amazing bit right in the kind of knuckle of it, and it was just melted in my mouth. Anyway, the memories, huh?
Oh, mate, that's it. You walk away a few pounds heavier on the day, that's for sure. And look, it's a great festival, and it was a good. Obviously, they had a couple of years break, so it was a good one to come back to and see you on stage there as well, and it was great. But we'll circle back onto that stuff. But mate, are you drinking something very interesting there? So what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking something very interesting, actually. It's like it's basically opaque. Like you can't see me through that, can you?
No, that is very thick.
It's delicious. I've actually got 3 beers from one brewery. I popped into McCoppin's today and picked up a few things. I don't know. This brewery blows my mind every time. It's Duncan's. They're a Kiwi brewery, I believe.
Yep.
And just stunning artwork, but just ridiculous flavors. So at the moment, I'm drinking a plum waffle pastry sour, 6.5%, and it's just magnificent. It's delicious.
That's fantastic. That's a mouthful. The beer is as much as a mouthful as the name of the damn thing.
Yeah.
That's unreal, mate. Cheers, mate. Yeah, let me crack this open away from the technology because I have a bad habit of. Oh, yep. Here we go. Cheers, buddy.
All right. Cheers to everybody. Tune in out there. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And so let's go back, mate. And I suppose how did you get started in the industry? What was that spark that made you go, you know what, I want to make music, and more importantly, I want to make country music.
I've been playing music since I lived in here's the origin story, right? So I lived in the city. My family, there were a few musicians in my family. There's always guitars around. There was always music happening. We all moved from the city up to South Gippsland, and I kind of made this vow to myself to start a band. So that was when I was like 16, 17, and we kind of like a psychedelic, I don't know, experimental rock band. We were doing a lot of stuff, lots of kind of genre bending stuff. It was kind of the end of the 90s, and that was really fun, and we had some success, and we all got hooked on music. I gave it up for a bit. Went to art school, did some work. I'm a photographer and a graphic designer, and then kind of just got pulled back into music. But I was really hooked on country music at the time. So after kind of putting my guitar down for ages, I picked up a banjo and joined a band with a banjo, Gemma and the Clifton Hillbillies. And then a friend lent me a nylon string guitar. It's I've got to put it away actually. And I just started writing songs like mad. And that was my first record, kind of fell out of this guitar. That was that's probably like 8 years ago or something now. And
2015.
Something like that. Yeah, that's my sense of time is pretty all over the place. But
I think we all lost a couple of years, mate. So it's everything's a little bit skew if, isn't it?
Yeah. That was let's not even go there.
No, mate. No.
That's kind of my origin story with music. I've been doing it for ages, and there's nothing more fun. There's nothing I enjoyed more than playing music with people. It's just awesome.
That's it, mate. And look, I guess while we're on the guitars there, Mark has asked, you got a few big guitars on the wall there. Which one's your favorite?
So this one here, this is Loretta, and that's my performance guitar. That's what I play with all the time. So I would have to say Loretta.
That's awesome. Look, mate, it's one of those things. I sort of see you on stage when you're hosting. You're hosting the Gippsland Country Music Festivals, but also performing, and you do bring a lot of energy and a lot of, I guess, just in a simple way, just a lot of happiness to the crowd, which I think is amazing what you do. So I definitely believe you are born to do what you're doing, mate. So I'm glad you're here. Now, your first tour was in Nashville back in 2016 with, I guess, Gemma Rowland. So what was that like? I mean, obviously, you sort of joined in the band with banjo, and you're going to Nashville for your first tour, mate. Talk us through that.
Oh, that was wild times. That was fantastic. Gemma and the Clifton Hillbillies was really great. Country rock band with a bunch of fantastic musicians, and Gemma was a great band leader, and worked really hard and managed to get a grant for us all to go over.
Oh wow, cool.
To the States, after we'd made a record, and we went over for Americana Fest and did some stuff over there, and then did a tour run through Austin as well. So I've been to the States a bunch of times, and all my friends are over there at the moment. It's Americana Fest right now. So all my friends are sending me videos being like, oh, look, we're watching Love It, and there's Buddy Miller, and there's Sierra Farrell, and it's kind of killing me, I've got to say.
Mate, the FOMO is the worst, mate. FOMO is the worst.
But you know what? This is I've got business to attend to here at the moment. So next year, I try and stop me. I guess try and stop me. I'll be there if it's happening. I'll be there.
That's awesome, mate. Now, obviously, and along the time there, you wrote your first your LP, Morning Evening. I love the title. It took me a while to get your head around it for a second. I'm like, Morning Evening, but anyway, you talk about how you like to write music on the move. Obviously, the movement through and while you're driving, or on a plane, or things like that. So, talk us through the writing of that the songs on the album, mate. Where do you draw the inspiration, and what was that journey like?
Yeah, the journey was wonderful. It's I think it was my second trip to the States. So I'd been over there just for a look around previously, a good look around. And then this time going back with the band was really exciting. So there was inspiration happening, and the whole on the move thing, it seems to work for me every time. Like, I wrote heaps of the lyrics for that first record, both walking my dog around the Mary Creek back here, and then over in the States, trains and planes and cars. It's just the stimulus that kind of flies past. There's this notion, I think it's like a French thing or something, this notion of a person who just walks through the world observing, and the French call it a flaneur, and I think I'm a bit of a flaneur. I love.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
It's a great word. I love moving through space and just letting the experience kind of, rush by me. And when you're writing, when you're looking for inspiration, it's like you get a little story in your head. If you're sitting there at a desk, like you kind of trying to just draw on what's floating around in your memory. But if you're walking down around the river, down the street, if you're sitting on a train, like with all this landscape rolling past you, you kind of got constant stimulus, and little things just spark stuff. And it kind of just like, you just got to catch it. I've recommended it to friends who write as well. Like I think it's something that particularly works for me, but I think it's a really useful tool for anyone kind of looking for some inspiration.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think the motion of actually moving through something and your peripheral being filled allows you to sort of focus a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense, but whereas for me, I'm probably the same. I mean, obviously I don't write songs, but when I'm static, I tend to think way too much. My brain goes in way different directions. Whereas I tend to focus a little bit more because I've got cars rushing by and things moving, and you're like, okay, well, the brain's got things to keep it occupied, and you can sort of focus a bit. So that's pretty cool, man. And you sort of and that album came out, and you sort of then you sort of formed the band. Obviously the Millions. I love the name, and sort of Ben Mastwyk and the Millions. Tell us about the band. How did that come through? Obviously, 7-piece band, which is quite epic on stage too. So that's you guys sort of really stand out really well. So how did the band come together?
Oh, well, it's a bit of a family, I guess, the Millions. It swells in size. Like I think when we played out on the weekend, I'm pretty sure there was 9 of us on stage. It's just, I love just the momentum and the energy, not dissimilar to talking about kind of walking around or being on a train or whatever. It feels like a train kind of hurtling through the landscape, and once that band kicks off, it's just thrilling. You just get up on it and it just goes. Look, we've got one rule in the Millions in terms of having people who kind of enter the Millions: superstars only. Everyone that I play with is so incredibly talented in their own right. They're all singer, songwriter, musicians, multi-instrumentalists. They're all playing with heaps of other amazing people. They're all doing their own things as well, which means I've got to be very organized and kind of get bookings way in advance. But they're my beautiful, talented ratbag friends, and we get to share the experience of getting together and just rocking out. It's awesome. I love it.
No, that's it, man. And I think the same thing, like you said, the energy on the stage and how you guys interact with each other, and I just want to touch on the fact that obviously somewhere between 2018 and 2020 when the Millions came together with you've started to, obviously you had the new suits, the gold suits coming out, and you had the black suits with the Thunderbolts and things like that. And, the Millions had their own suits, and some of the, watching some of the video clips and stuff you've created, it looks amazing. How did the look come about? What made you progress to that, the real, so I guess encapsulating, the whole cosmic country rocker feel?
Yeah, I guess to me, the concept of the Millions, it's about being extra. Yeah, it's about turning it all up, dialing it all up, and just, going for it. There's also a great tradition in country music of wearing flashy outfits. And not being afraid to inhabit the role of being an entertainer. We're there to entertain people. So I like putting on a big show. It was actually my guitarist and producer, Michael Hubbard, when we were sitting in the studio one time. He's like, "Oh, we should all get gold jackets." And I was like, "Okay." He plays, superstars only. You know the rules. He plays in a band. They're actually playing this Sunday at the Gem. If anyone is up for a gig on Sunday at 4:00, I think. His band, the Blue Bottles, are amazing. They're like a 60s surf psych rock band. Like and
awesome.
they're phenomenal. Yeah. It's so good. I'll be there with a bunch of the crew as well. Come down to that. So yeah, we're sitting around the studio, and that was my point. They all wear matching jackets and outfits. The Blue Bottles.
Right. Okay.
So, and he kind of loves that aspect of it. I'd never, it wasn't really something that we've always dressed up, but I'd never done the matching kind of outfits. Yeah. I was like, yeah, cool. So I got a bunch of jackets that we kind of wore for a year or something, kind of just cheap things. And we've just kept evolving it and dialing it up. So now everyone's like dripping in rhinestones and six suits, and it's fun to dress up for the performance and just turn the whole thing up to 11.
No, that's it. I think it definitely draws the crowd in a bit more too. People, I mean, obviously the rhinestone catches in the light, and then all of a sudden everyone's watching. So it definitely works really well. And I think also noticed listening to the Winning Streak album, the sort of the energy sort of lifted a little bit, and it was a higher paced compared to your first album. So that definitely was that a purposeful change in sort of speed and sort of in that energy level?
100%. Yeah, it's so for me, it was always country music to me, and then we had alt country. It used to be called alt country. That's cool. And then it became Americana. So just, keep getting these different genres going on. Americana, fine, whatever. They're just marketing labels, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all country music to me. But the Americana scene started getting a bit somber and dreary. And I loved it. Like, I was so obsessed with Gillian Welch's Time the Revelator record. I must have listened to that record 1,000 times. It kind of, I don't know, it felt like it's kind of like, run a warm bath and drink some morphine or something. It's like it's just that kind of melancholic kind of vibe, and that's great. And my first record was kind of really drawing on those kind of feelings as well. I kind of touched that well. But by the second record, we were like, we're going to gigs all the time, and everyone's just like, we're sad.
Yeah, it's hard to amp it up.
I was doing it too, and I was like, you know what? Let's just start ramping it up. And once we set our sights on that, like, let's give this a nudge, we kind of got pretty hooked on it. And so, yeah, it's that album certainly did kind of go funk in that way. We just dialed everything up, and it was fun. It was heaps of fun. People responded to it really well.
No, look, I must admit it was quite. All right, which one's that one? Is that the same one?
Yeah, they're tall cans.
It looks like a juice.
I know it kind of tastes like a juice. It's bloody good. You got to try this. Duncan's, everybody. This is the Duncan's Plum Waffle Pastry Sour.
What a name! What a
and
name!
Recommend.
That's unreal. Now, collaboration-wise for songs, I mean, you did a song with Angie Hart on that called Happiness, and it was a really great album. Was it? Do you have any other collaborations you work with, or do you have any other sort of duets you do, or of sort of there's a lot of vocals in your songs, and there's a lot of, especially I guess you've got a big band, but yeah, I guess the Happiness album, that song track was really, really well done.
Yeah, that was that was awesome singing with Angie. She's a friend, and she's just got such an incredible voice. So any opportunity I get to sing with her, I take. But yeah, the first record was it was largely kind of duets across the board. And then, going forward, so Brooke Russell, who's an amazing artist as well, she's sung on my last 3 records, I reckon.
Cool.
And there's some kind of duet style ones on there. And then on the previous record, we brought Loretta Miller into the mix as well, and so her and Brooke were singing. It was just, yeah, Loretta Miller's incredible. She's got her own stuff going on. I believe Loretta is playing a gig. So we're going to come with me on Sunday, right? Everyone come and hang with me on Sunday. So meet me at the Gem at 4 p.m. for the Blue Bottles, and then we're all going to the John Curtin, which is going to be one of the last shows at the John Curtin before it looks like it is closing down. I'm really upset to say, to see Loretta play there as well. So there you go. We're spending Sunday together, folks.
That sounds like an amazing Sunday.
Yeah, make sure you come and say hi. This is just how we roll, Reyan. We just chase the good times.
No, man. Sounds amazing. Now, I guess the fast forward a little bit to 2021, and you released "Living on a Gold Street." Probably album, the most successful album you've sort of released so far, with sort of #1 Australian independent charts and things like that. Also hitting the ARIA charts as well as the iTunes Australia country charts. That album's got some punch, and obviously, from a lot of great nuggets of songs as well. Talk us through the songs, man. I mean, I must admit, I can't stop singing "Devil's So Close." Even this morning, I was just playing in the background. Talk us through some of the songs there and how you got the inspiration, because I think I must admit that for me, that's one of my favorite albums that I've sort of listened to so far, and probably the first few songs I've heard of yours. So they've definitely stuck.
Awesome, I love it. Well, yeah, look, that record, I feel like by that stage we really knew who we were as a band, and I had really kind of settled into who I was as an artist by that stage, I think. So we were thrilled with that record. It was wonderful to make. That was again made with Michael Hubbard of the Blue Bottles, who you're going to see on Sunday. He's a fantastic producer. He just puts gold flakes on everything. He puts wings on songs. I come to him with these songs, and I'll sit down. I'll be like, "Oh, what do you think of this one?" He'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know about that one." I was like, "Okay, what about this one?" And he's like, "Yeah, I reckon that one's good." He's like, "But what if we speed it up a bit, or what if you drop that bit out of it?" Okay, yeah, we've got a really great creative relationship.
That's awesome,
and it really pays off. So yeah, that record really, we got to really give things a nudge. It became much more rocky. We brought in kind of lots of elements of like country funk on that record. It's kind of set in the 70s, I guess, sonically, but then it's modern as well. So it just, writing songs is great, and writing lyrics is a really important kind of thing to me, and at the end of the day, I'm a songwriter. That's kind of what I love doing.
Yeah.
But I really get excited by the sound that you get to create. So working with a great producer, working with incredible musicians, bring that in and just kind of opening up the process and letting people have their input and kind of do their thing. I bring songs and kind of my vibe, but then everyone brings their own thing, and you stand back at the end of it and you're like, that's bigger and more exciting than I could have done on my own. And that's what I love about collaboration.
No, that's it. I think that's what obviously makes it amazing, isn't it? Like, obviously, yeah, you bring your part, and then it just sort of compounds and gets better and better. So, and one of the songs on there, "Living on Girl Street," where did that? Because it's sort of a really deep song. A lot of the other songs a little bit, I guess, lighthearted and sort of. I suppose just easy listening. Whereas this one, you take us on a journey. Was there a story there that you sort of, how did that lyrics come about?
Yeah, well, it's it was written at a time where I was going through. I'd gone through a huge breakup, and I'd gone through a couple of big breakups actually. And I had just gotten together with my partner Stella, who is, look, I won't even start. She's absolutely amazing. And when we were getting together, it was just a really wonderful time. And I was coming out of a pretty dark space, and it felt like I was walking into the golden sunlight.
That's awesome.
And so that song really kind of tells the story of that transition out of the darkness and into that beautiful life which I now live in, which is so good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously you're speaking about Stella Paisley, DJ Clippity Clop, who I see you guys. You guys are amazing when you're hosting the country music festivals down in Gippsland. Just seeing you guys working together is so good. So yeah, I can see that the chemistry is definitely there, mate. I'm happy for it. That song. It's good to hear the backstory of that song as well. That's fantastic. Now it's one of those things that obviously we don't want to talk about it, but we did come out of a couple of years of darkness. And how did, without sort of, I don't want to go too deep, but at the same time, like, how did you cope? Obviously as a musician, seeing your fellow musicians struggling through that, and the industry struggling, and obviously gigs stopped. What was that like? And more importantly, how good was it to come back out? I think I just want to focus on the positive.
Yeah. Coming back out is amazing. We are dealing with a bit of a broken system, though. It's a big time of change for the music industry, for everything. Like, the world is in absolute flux, chaotic flux at the moment. And there's opportunities in that, there's a lot of change going on. So if you're creative and you have energy and you have good people around you, I think you, and as long as you're privileged enough to be able to support yourself and live, if you're in that position, then I think there's great opportunity to do some really positive stuff. At the time, we were talking about this just prior to going on air. I did my own live stream TV show. It was called Ben Mastwyk's Golden Hour. And
is that available anywhere, mate? Can you find that somewhere online?
Yeah. All the episodes are up on my YouTube channel.
I'll check it out. We'll put a link in this one.
It was a variety show. There's lots of great musical acts on there. It's kind of like Countdown or something, but a bit weird. I was interviewing a bunch of musical friends. We were doing like ridiculous musical collaborations together on green screens and stuff. I've got a media arts background, so I had cameras and lights and know-how. I wish I had NBN back then. I tell you what, I have NBN now, and this is great. Back then, I did not have NBN, and it was the internet was a struggle. But for me, the answer in that moment was to create something. And yeah, I turned to that, and it was fun. I actually I actually made new, really good friends and consolidated a lot of great friendships and relationships through that time, just by talking, sometimes on the phone, or like talking to people on the little show. I mean, that's I feel like you and I are getting to know each other right now. So just talking to people is great. It's really great.
Yeah. And I mean, that's exactly how this show has evolved. Like, basically, we went into lockdown, so to speak. Well, not so to speak, but we went into lockdown. I had nothing else to do on a Saturday night, so myself and Mark, we started the Barbecue and Brews show. And like yourself, we used to speak to people in the barbecue community and just and consolidate and chatting, and that community just grew and grew and grew. So yeah, it's a very similar journey from a show point of view, anyway. But Lizzie, I'm just glad you're back on a stage, though, because I remember. I love going to concerts and music festivals, and used to go to Big Day Out. And before we went into lockdown, saw Elton John when they came down here, and it was the best gig ever. So seeing the crowd and being in a crowd at that Gippsland Country Music Festival for the first time after like however many, year and a half or whatever, was just amazing feeling, and I don't know if you probably remember, but it rained so bad. But like, it seemed like nobody cared. Like, nobody cared that it rained.
I know.
Everyone's like, I don't care. I am staying here and I'm going to watch the whole thing.
It's crazy. Like, because I was emceeing, so I was backstage. I was under shelter the whole time. But in between every act, I'm coming out and talking to the audience, and they are saturated. Yeah. But they got a smile from ear to ear, and
it was good vibes.
The folks that were up against the front, they were there from the beginning of the day to the end of the night, singing every word to every song, to every act that was there, hugging each other, drinking, swaying. It was just, there was a lot of joy there. It was so good. The festival is brilliant. The producers of that festival I actually went to school with a long time ago, so we've known each other.
Oh, wow.
The McLarens, and they know what they're doing, and they bring a really good energy, and it's a pleasure to be a part of it.
That's it. And look, I mean, I guess while we're on the festival, I think obviously you hosted a couple of festivals now, but I believe you're playing on the Goulburn Country Festival, Golden Valley Country Festival coming up. So,
absolutely. My friend Aidan gave me a call a while ago, and I already knew he had me flagged to MC it again. So I had that penciled in. He gave me a call to kind of chat about that. And they're doing the Goulburn Valley and the Gippsland. It's basically the same lineup. They take it to 2 spots. And they asked me if I would MC one and play the other, which is really thrilling. Great stage, amazing audience. And my buddy Gareth Leach. So I got bloody COVID during one of them that I was meant to MC. So I'm at home with the spicy cough. And basically, I hooked my buddy Gareth Leach up with the gig, and he was great, and everyone loved him. And so what we're going to do is the one that I'm playing, he's going to MC that one. And then the one
awesome. Cool.
He's going to play that one. So they offered us that, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for next year. It's been we get a few country music acts coming down our way, which is great. We got some great international acts coming as well to Australia, which is got some crazy tickets going out there, which looks amazing. But I don't know what it is, but I really did fall in love with that festival. And basically, obviously, Stella dropping the beats between acts. That was by far had to be one of my highlights, because there was some some great classic country music got dropped, and it was cool to see the crowd just get in and singing along, and that was just so good. And then I saw you at Midstock Melbourne. Totally different vibe, totally different crowd, and the sun was out, which was great in Melbourne. How did you find that? What was Midstock like for you? Just to sort of bring it back into a little bit of barbecue.
Yeah. Midstock was really fun. Just that it's a vegan nightmare. Yeah. I'm not a vegan. It was funny. I was scrolling through photos today to find something to post to let people know about the thing tonight, and I've got some great photos of me like posing with steaks and stuff, which would be because I love steak. I kind of I could eat it all the time. But I have had instances in the past, like actually I think I was in Vegas, right, and went to one of these like classic steak house joints and got like the brontosaurus steak, like that, that you got to share it with two people. It's absolutely huge, and kind of, at the end you're left with this bone, which is just, it's like a whole kind of rib and a big American rib. It's huge, and taking some photos, like just gnawing on this bone. Growing up, like a roast, I never had ribs or American style barbecue growing up, but we did do a roast lamb a lot, and that was always my favorite meal as a kid. And I would always get the bone and just like, chew the bone at the end. And I can't help myself. I still do it now. So posted a photo of me chewing on this brontosaurus bone, and had somebody like just got completely taken down by a vegan online. It's like, being vegan is awesome. I'm not vegan, it was. So I thought about posting a photo of me like, with the steak, and then I was like,
I'll just use a dog. Dog's better.
Yeah, everyone loves dogs. Everyone loves.
Yeah, that's it. You can't go too far.
Being vegan is completely awesome. I'm here for it. I love it. It's great. I'm not.
I am also not vegan, so I just want to put that out. I cook way too much meat. But look, it's. Do you barbecue, or do you cook? You obviously do. Do you do the lamb roast yourself now?
Yeah, we like Stella and I love a roast. We roast a lot of chicken because it's kind of easy and delicious. Yeah. Occasionally we'll do a lamb. Actually, we go to the Vic Market, Queen Victoria Market, to do our shopping, and we've got our favourite butcher down there, Macca. And Macca always likes to, tell us about what he's been up to on the weekend. He's like, had a big one on the weekend. Had to have a little nap out the back before, had to put a bit of whiskey in my coffee cup. You know how it is. Macca's great. We love him.
I got to go meet Macca.
Oh, yeah. Okay, come meet us at the market one time. Macca's fantastic. And we used to get them every week. Now we kind of tend to get them every second week. A beautiful Scotch fillet, and they're just they're small, like they're almost as tall as they are in diameter. Like they're hefty boys. So I cooked those up. We had those last night, and I fried it in butter and just did a bunch of like just beautiful greens, a huge big bowl of greens and a salad and some corn. And I'm a big mustard guy with red meat, so I've got the Dijon, and I'm just slapping it on the plate. Like mustard and steak for me is just chef's kiss.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm the same with we've got a mustard called Mama Malise mustard, which is this. My background's Sri Lankan, and it's sort of a Sri Lankan style mustard. That's a whole grain mustard sauce, and it is just yeah, with steak or ham or anyway, don't get me started. I absolutely love that mustard. But yeah, I absolutely agree. And look, it's, I suppose, sort of circling back. I mean, it's just one of those things we sort of tend to go through this whole, you know, I guess world from barbecue point of view, and we sort of tend to get lost. I get lost in the barbecue, but sometimes I forget how much I guess meat we do consume. It is a like I said, a valid point, you know, just to be aware of that. And I am very I do believe that we need to, I like to use, you know, I hate wasting anything meat or anything like that. So it is one of those things that yeah, if you're gonna commit to purchasing it and eating it, just making sure that you're consuming it and supporting local butchers as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, through your local butchers and stuff, wherever you can, kind of, you know, happy animals make delicious meat. Like, you know, they really do. And
They do.
So if you're lucky enough to be able to get beautiful free range stuff or organic stuff, or, you know, like all of that kind of stuff, I try to be as conscious a consumer as possible with that kind of stuff, and I do really respect the whole life cycle that's behind it, and the impact that it has on everything. But I just really love it. I love it.
Deep down inside, I just love it.
Love it. And I run really good on meat. It's like if I have a steak, I am just like pumping, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome. That's what we love to hear. I mean, that's you tick the barbecue part of the show, and we've got Brews covered. So that's the show covered up pretty well. Coming back to country music a little bit, mate. How has things changed? Like, we've got a new beer. What we got?
I mean, I finished the other guy.
Is that a yuzu?
Another Duncan's. Yeah, this is a yuzu dry lager. This little unassuming guy here is so delicious and refreshing. I think actually, because Stella, I came home with a bunch of cool beers, and Stella also came home with a bunch of cool beers, and we both came home with these.
Oh, no way.
They're really good.
Oh, I had a yuzu beer the other day which had chili in it. I've never had chili in a beer. I'll send you the name of it. You got to try it. But it was just interesting. You drink this refreshing soury beer, and then you end with a chili hit. Oh, that's a little bit more beery than the last one you had.
You can, this one actually looks like a beer. The other one is like a juice.
Yeah, it's like you had Boost juice in the can.
I love yuzu. Anything with yuzu.
Yeah.
Sign me up. It's just a wonderful flavor.
No, absolutely is. So yeah, before the beer pouring, how are you found music changing from, I guess, when you first started, or when you first, obviously, your through your childhood, and then where we are now? What's country music changed like for you? And I suppose, what's the Australian scene like? And one of the questions we had from Grill Marks Barbecue was like, you know, the difference between Australian country music, which I've sort of fallen in love with over the last couple of years, and I guess the US style. I've given you 5 questions, so take your time.
Sure. US and Australia, look, there's great stuff in both places, and there's all sorts. Country music is a very broad church, right? So you got your pop stuff, you got your alt stuff, you got your redneck stuff, you got your kind
of redneck,
libertarians, like all sorts of people are making country music. But country music as an entity, it's all of those aspects kind of keep it alive. It is a very broad church, and all sorts of people come to it and contribute to it. In terms of where country music is going and kind of how it's changed, I find that it's almost like there's a wheel turning, right? And so I think country music operates on 20-year cycles. I could get a whiteboard out and kind of draw this all out. I really could. So I think country music in Melbourne That's my experience because that's where I'm from. I think it was in 20-year cycles, and it kind of people seem to discover it again every 20 years and get really excited about it. And then there's this other cycle going on where what we're looking back at, what people are looking back at, kind of also keeps shifting. So you look at someone like Dwight Yoakam, who kind of came up in like the kind of mid 80s to 90s and is still doing great stuff now. He was looking back at the 50s, right? So he's obsessed with the Bakersfield sound, Buck Owens, all that kind of stuff. When I started playing music, country music again, playing with Gemma and the kind of stuff that I was into, we were kind of all looking at, we were listening to like, we'd gone further back, but we were really kind of listening to like 60s country music. So, you know, like kind of getting into like Graham Parsons and I don't know, and then other stuff as well, like Neil Young, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and then still kind of Buck Owens and the Birds and all of that stuff. And then, so when we got up to then Living on Gold Street, my last record, we were really getting off on 70s. It was like that 70s sound, funky country, like, you know, Dolly Parton, Mel Haggard, George Jones. I mean, they've been there across numerous eras, but like just there's a bit more pep in the step. It's kind of it's fusing a bit with rock and roll and getting fun. And now, you know, it's certainly I started kind of being crazy about it. 80s and 90s country music is hot now. So it's like at the like back when I was younger, I thought Shania Twain wasn't country. I thought it was pop nonsense. It's like, you know, it's like give me Johnny Cash, give me Hank Williams, you know, that's real country music. And now you listen to Shania now, and it is so country compared to what sound like compared to and it's amazing, but it's also then got this kind of like, this bigger, rockier sound, and it's more forward thinking. And so we're really getting off on like 80s, 90s stuff now. And and I'm finding like, it's a trend, you know. I didn't discover this. Like anyone that listens to country music, there's this kind of uprising, this reappreciation of the 90s stuff. I mean, it's moving with fashion as well. You know, it's like you and I are probably a similar age. It's like you can't grow up. Like you go to the vintage stuff, you get like a 70s kind of vintage jacket, and that's cool. You know what I mean? But you look at kind of millennials now, and they're all wearing 90s stuff. They all think that 90s stuff is the retro kind of stuff. So it's cyclical, you know.
It's unreal. And amazing you touched on that one, because that's something I can't get over, the fact that I'm seeing what I used to wear as a teenager as fashionable in the teenage world now, and it's a bit mind-blowing. And I'm like, how old am I? But
we old, man, we old.
we're really old. I mean, look, and I think Aussie country's done some, you know, it's got such a great range as well, you know. You got Felicity Urquhart, who's got that real great melodical music and just tells a story really well. Then you got someone like Travis Collins that just like bangs out a story. And even Casey Barnes, like, man, like he's rock and he's doing so well. But it is just so cool to see. And then you got Brad Cox, this like, oh man, I've sort of fallen in love with some of these the local acts, and they're just doing such great work.
Everyone you mentioned there is wonderful. I love what they're doing, but Brad Cox, love. Like Stella and I both are just mad Brad Cox fans. Like it's so good. He rocks so hard. The band
rocks so hard. And I find it, you listen to his records like on Spotify and whatever, and it's kind of like these deep and meaningful songs, and they've got great stories, like and I find I get lost in his songs, but then you see him on stage and he just smashes them out, and you're like, wow, that's another level of like how this song needs to be performed. It's unreal.
Totally. And they all take their shirts off and they're like smashing tinnies and spitting beer. And they're all sweaty rock dogs. Like they're a really rocking band. And to be able to watch them from like side of stage.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And kind of just watch how hard the drummer is laying in, and how good the guitarist is when he steps up and sings a song. It's like, oh my God, these guys are really, really good.
All right, give me Brad Cox and Wolf Brothers any day. Like and Andrew Swift's doing some good stuff too. He's some of his songs, the same thing. And I think that's what I love about country. It's an easy story to follow. It is a story. Generally it's either heartbroken or finding love, and it's just such a, I don't know what it is, but modern music just doesn't seem to tick those boxes where you kind of go and like, I can relax in this, like you said, pull the bath and just relax with this album, whereas some of the new music just doesn't give us that feelings anymore.
That said, I also I listen to heaps of country. I listen to all sorts of things, but I think like beyond country, my real other musical love is hip hop. Like that's probably the other stuff that I listen to a lot. I'm listening to it less at the moment, I think, because I'm back in the studio and stuff. But I do listen to a lot of hip hop, and some of the stuff like you listen to Drake or someone like that, and it's kind of like country music with trap beats. He's just singing about his feelings.
Yeah.
Just about the girl that he was with or whatever. It's not that dissimilar, I think. And
that's it. And you got musicians like Breland. I'm not sure, I'm probably murdering the pronunciation there, but like he brings that sort of hip hoppy music and those sounds into country, and you're like, this is hitting me in two different places right now, and I'm loving it. So it's I love the way it's mixing.
Totally. And to go back to your point about where country music is going, there is a huge fusion between country and hip hop and the mainstream country stuff. It's not my world, but I do tune into it every now and then, like put Triple M country on and just get off on those like full-blown pop country bangers.
Yeah.
They got trap beats and auto-tune going on,
Yeah, it's good.
They're really fusing with that. And we're exploring our own kind of aspects of that too. Like we're in the studio at the moment, and the next record is,
I was going to ask, what's coming? What's coming?
Yeah, well, we're in the studio right now, working on album number 4, and like all bets are off now. It's
right.
we're really going at this one. We're digging into it. There's a lot of electronic stuff happening on this
cool.
record.
Yeah.
There's drum machines and synthesizers and all sorts of weird, wonderful things. We've kind of broken the, thrown out the rule book on this one. We can kind of just go where we want with these songs. It's a party record, really.
Yeah, right. Cool.
It's the songs are still meaningful. There's still songs that I've written that are meaningful, but we're just dialing it up now. It's like we know what we're doing and we know what people like from us, and we're just going to give it, Reyan. We're just going to give it to you.
When's do you have a release date, or do you have any ideas of when that's coming out?
So it's also just complex these days. We're all, like, at this stage, I don't know if there's any record labels out there listening, but at this stage, I'm self-releasing this record, as I have done with all my other previous records. We always work with people. There's always a team, but I guess I steer the ship, is my point. So there is a single coming out this year. We will drop the first single this year, because this year is like closing in.
It's September, mate. It's near the grand final, and we're looking. It's October, November, December. You're done.
I know, we're so close now. So we're in the studio building this record and just having heaps of fun with it. But I really did want to put something out this year, so we're gonna grab the first single and we're gonna drop that this year, and I'll tell you about some shows in a moment. But then there'll be some more singles next year. It'll be next year. It's down the track. You're gonna have to wait for the record. There'll be dropping a lot of singles, but the record will come out down the track.
I mean, and you sort of said, you are self-releasing this, and is that something? I mean, not something that's changed, but I suppose, is that something in the environment we're in and the space we're in a music sense, with things like Spotify and YouTube and all these ways you can release your music? Do you finding that it's simpler now than, say, 20 years ago if you were trying to self-release a record? Is it actually a little bit more easier to actually be independent?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, because I've been doing stuff for ages. These days, the tools are out there for you. You can do it. You can do the whole thing yourself if you want to. I get a day job as well, so for me, it's a bit of it's all about time, money, and look. There's plenty of energy, but time and money, they're more limited resources.
That's right.
So yeah, you can do it yourself, but you're always, there's going to be someone on your team. It's we don't work in isolation, and we've got some great people behind the scenes helping us out with stuff. It's good family. The country scene is really, everyone kind of looks after each other.
It seems tight. It seems really tight.
It's still competitive,
yeah,
but everyone it's pretty open and welcoming, and everyone kind of looks out for each other. There's the little circles that kind of float together. But yeah, everyone seems to get along really well, and I think for this love of country music, everyone's kind of there for it. And so it's the saying, the rising tide floats all boats. It's if the whole scene rises, it's good for all
everyone,
of them.
right? Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And I mean, that's the tide I'm riding at the moment. I'm absolutely love country music, man, and sort of it's I keep calling myself the sort of born again country music fan. I really, really do enjoy it. Now, speaking of which, is there an artist or a band or someone that isn't getting as much love that should get get some attention that you recommend we should check out?
I'm going to give you 3 really hot tips. I've already mentioned a couple, right? Because on Sunday, everyone's going to meet me at the Gem at 4 p.m. to see my guitarist and producer's amazing
Blue Bottles.
Yeah, surf rock band, the Blue Bottles, 4 p.m. I'll see them. And then after that, we're going to see Loretta Miller play at the Lomond with a new project she's got going on. But my little clique at the moment, the shows that we've got that will be that we've kind of just starting to announce now. We've got a bunch of us that are kind of releasing albums and singles around the same time. So I'm going to tell you about 3 people that you should know about. The first person is Patrick Wilson. Have you come across Patrick Wilson yet, Reyan?
No, I can't say I have, mate. Can't say I have, but I'll write this one down.
So Pat is an incredible singer-songwriter, and he's just dropped a great new single called Here Comes Another One, and it's awesome, and he's going to be playing the next run of shows with us.
Cool.
Pat is also plays drums with me as well.
Okay.
So, I've already got him at the gig, so we may as well put him on. And he's very good. Pat and I collaborate together a lot. We've written songs together for the new record. I shot his new film clip, which is out at the moment. If you check out Patrick Wilson online there, you'll see that new film clip. So he's absolutely wonderful. Get around his new stuff. Then there is the legendary Dan Brody, who I've been collaborating with now for some time. Dan also makes his records with producer Michael Hubbard, and has made. I'm one of maybe 3 people that have heard his new record in its entirety, which will be kind of released over the next year as well. It's incredible. It's a really, really good record. He's an incredible songwriter, and he will also be joining us on this run of shows, launching his new single. Dan Brody, he's legendary. Been on the scene for a long time. He's got an amazing back catalogue you should check out, but his new record is going to be really something. And then the final artist that I want you to check out is Leroy McQueen. Now, Leroy is also producing.
What a name! I gotta say doesn't get much more country than Leroy McQueen.
I know. So Leroy is putting the finishing touches on their album as well, and we'll be releasing a single, and we'll be doing some shows with Leroy too.
Awesome.
They're my 3 hot tips, and the thing is, you can look them up on the internet, and you should look them up on the internet, but you can also see them all by coming to some of the shows that we'll be doing between now and the end of the year as well. They're my kind of road posse.
Love it. That's awesome. I love the fact that some of them are part of your band. Is like Patrick's part of your band, but he's also obviously supporting act as well. That's so cool, and I love the community you're building around that. It's so good. Now, I mean, obviously, speaking of these gigs coming up, maybe before we let you go, give us some dates and places that we should catch you, and hopefully coming down Geelong way, because it'd be nice to see you down this way. Maybe cook you some barbecue ribs.
So we're the end of the year is upon us. So we're squeezing in a few special shows before the end of the year. So the first one up, I'm actually not playing, but I'm emceeing it, and it is Patrick Wilson's single launch. Leroy McQueen is supporting, as is the Smith & Wesson jury, who are also great friends of ours and very good. That's at the Lomond Hotel opposite Triple R Studios, and that is on the 24th. So it's not too far away. It's on the 24th. Do you mind if I just tell you about it?
Do it. No, do it, mate. Absolutely.
So, okay. Now, I feel this is a pretty tight crew, right? Like all your crew they're all good crew, right, Reyan?
Yeah. No, they're awesome.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm going to let them in on a secret. This is not a public thing, but these are my $1 million bills, and this is actually an invitation to my party. But we're also shooting a film clip. Now, Reyan, I've got one question for you. Do you have a cowboy hat, or can you get one before September 29th?
I do, and I can.
Yes. Okay.
I couldn't come to the Gippsland Country Music Festival without a cowboy hat.
True. So Reyan, I'm formally inviting you and your cool friends, as long as they have some cowboy attire to wear, to come to Lulie Tavern in Abbotsford on September 29th. It's actually my birthday as well, so you can buy me a drink.
Oh, excellent.
But we are shooting a film clip for what is going to be the first single of this. All you've got to do is come down, dress like awesome. You know, just you get it. The official dress code is high class hillbilly. So you can interpret this however you want, but I reckon
I can do that.
Cowboy hat, dope suit, or just like mad. I'll probably be wearing a fur coat, I think.
Sounds awesome. So it was the 29th, was it?
29th of September, yeah. And
I'll put these details. We'll put these details in the.
I'll send you all of this stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
So that's going to be a special one, and that's for select crew only. And if you come, you can get yourself some $1 million bills. These are these $1 million bills. They have value that you don't even know about yet. September 29th. Then we are doing our first official launch show. So this is going to be me, Dan Brody, Pat Wilson. Still waiting to hear back from Leroy. November 12th in St Kilda. Are there any St Kilda crew here? This is at George Lane. And this is going to be super cool, November 12th. After that, it's Queenscliff, and I think that's down your way, Reyan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my neck of the woods.
Yeah. Reyan, you should come to Queenscliff. Bring some crew.
Definitely. I've been there a couple of times. There's some great acts, and it'd be good to see there, mate. So
we're doing 3 shows over the weekend there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'll get the crew together. I've got it. It's funny. Like, one of the guys from work, Jeff, he got me into country music. He used to just play little bangers here and there in the playlist, and then it was just this little thing that sort of grown over time. So yeah, I'll have to make sure he comes down because he'll absolutely love it, and definitely for the 29th too, because he's a huge country music fan.
I love it. Now this is something that I feel like some of your crew might be into. I'm going to be doing a little bit of emceeing and then performing at the after party for the Entheogenesis Australis conference. This is for any psychedelics. What's that?
It rolls off the tongue.
Yes, it rolls off the tongue. The catchy title for it's called Garden States. This is for psychonauts in the crowd. This is about entheogenic plants, and if you know what that is, you know. But yeah, that's for the psychonauts and the plant heads and the cactus fans. You should check out.
Very niche. That's a very niche group of
super
people.
niche. It's also huge. They bring out some of the best psychedelic plant minds in the world to come and speak. EGA, Entheogenesis Australis, Garden State. Check these things out. We can we'll put some links through and people can check it out. Then we're doing another launch show at Westwood, which is do you know Cherry Bar, wouldn't you, Reyan?
No, I don't. Sorry, I'm very much
I was in the city, but this is not Cherry Bar. This is out in Footscray. This is Cherry Bar's other kind of venue. That's fun.
Okay, cool.
And then I'll be seeing you at the Goulburn Valley and maybe Gippsland Country Music Festival.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I'm playing the Goulburn Valley and I'm emceeing the Gippsland.
See, I'm keen to see you play, so I'll be tempted to come up to Goulburn more than heading out to Gippsland. I've done Gippsland twice now, anyway, so it's nice to get worth the drive, I reckon.
I love it. Yeah, so that's what I've got coming up. Thank you for the opportunity.
No worries, mate. No worries. We'll flick that all through, and I'll put that into the, I guess the blurb of each of these videos, so you can catch it later. Ben, it has been so good to chat to you. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those millions. That'd be great. And thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story, mate. It's been really good to have us chat to you,
mate. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks for asking such amazing, considered questions. And it's been an awesome Thursday night.
It's Thursday night. Cheers, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. I'm gonna I'll just got to wrap up the show, so I'll pop you into the green room, and I'll talk to you shortly, and we'll go from there. Cool, everyone. So that was Ben Mastwyk. Great story of how he got into country music and his journey, and obviously a whole bunch of shows coming up. You guys should all check him out. And he's on a bunch of different things. So each of these videos will have a bunch of links, including his Spotify account and things like that. So jump on Spotify, check out Ben's albums. They're really good listen, and can't thank him enough for coming on and spending episode with us. Now, look, next week we've got another great episode with Troy from Beard Street Barbecue, who started his new barbecue catering business. Got a massive barbecue that he tracks around. Can't wait to have a chat to him, and it's going to be one of those episodes where we learn the journey of what it's like to go from obviously a backyard barbecue and actually start to cook up at events, which is going good. And I know he's doing some work in Bendigo as well. There's a new barbecue festival coming up through there, so can't wait to hear about that. And before I go, just got to give a big shout out. So if you, we always try to recommend and support the barbecue network and family. So if you are on the social, make sure you go check out Grill Marks Barbecue. He's been quite active in this conversation here, which is great. But he's doing some live shows on Instagram, and you can probably check him out. Speaking to, I believe, Tyler tomorrow, one of the barbecue family. So just get out there and check him out. It's just good to support everyone. And till next week, look after yourselves, and we'll see you same time next Thursday. Catch you later.